you didn't connect with him, and then later you had a question, but you didn't connect, and you weren't keeping in touch the whole time, then you're missing out. See, the key is the strength of the relationship. Like, you might see me here, I might not be back here for another year, who knows, right? But if we make a connection now, that creates value down the line. That's why Rehan wants everyone to make connections and take selfies and all this, because he knows inherently the power of building these connections, right? Yeah.
I believe you had a question?
On Fiverr, how can, like, if anyone have choice to buy all the graphic designing services in just $200, so why they go for $2,000 services?
So this is where it comes to building the relationship, and if you've noticed what I've said, it's actually been off of Fiverr. Everything I've recommended, I never said, hey, go to my Fiverr and hire me or whatever it is. Because here's the thing, Fiverr is good. Like, don't get me wrong, I've hired lots of people from Fiverr actually, personally. But what I'll say is, on Fiverr, you can see it's like going to a store, you can see all the different prices of everything. So people are way more likely to price shop when they see a ton of different prices, right? Now, what if you hypothetically interviewed me, right? And you wanted me to hire you for something. And at the end of that interview, you provided value, and you know, maybe like a week later asked me, hey, do you know anyone who could help PR firms with, or do you know anyone who'd be interested in getting help with marketing their PR firm on TikTok, or whatever it is, right, and repurposing content. If you ask me that then, I'm way more likely to entertain the conversation with you and not go, well, I see this person on Fiverr, whatever. It becomes different when you know someone one-on-one compared to you see them as almost a number. When you're just looking at it like, okay, you have this rating, you have this many reviews, and this is your price. Like, now I'm like, okay, I'm working with you. And this is where it's human to human. It becomes much more different. It's like, okay, well, you know, how could you see us helping my business? Whatever you explain it, if it all makes sense, you know, it's X amount, let's say it's $500 a month. Okay, if I believe that it's gonna help me make, let's say, $5,000 a month, I'm gonna be like, okay, let's do it. You know, I'm not gonna go to Fiverr and be, well, actually, this person said they can do it for $50. Yeah. You know, so that's where it becomes different. Is Fiverr is great, and you can get business that way, especially if you establish it long term. If you get a lot of reviews, you get a lot of inbound business. What I'm talking about right now is something different, which is essentially building those relationships outside of that. And in a sense, you start to decommoditize yourself. You start to become seen as somebody who is a business owner, and okay, I'm hiring you because I know you're going to do a good job, because I know you. I don't know these other people on Fiverr. I have a personal relationship with you.
Fiverr's a great place to start if you don't have a network. If you just gained a skill, you're in the very beginning stages, and you just need to get a few projects going. But when you become an established, well-known digital marketer, I know the top digital marketers on the planet, they are not selling services on Fiverr. They're very expensive. So I was on the Digital Marketer podcast. Digital Marketer is the #1 podcast for digital marketing. And the guy who interviewed me was Qasim Aslam, who runs the #1 Google Ads agency in the world. Yeah. And the funny thing is that he was going to interview me about TikTok and about social media and all this kind of stuff. But then I said, wait a minute, Qasim Aslam, you're from Pakistan, and I think we first met 8 years ago. And he said, yeah, that's right. In fact, I came up to you after a conference and asked you all these questions, and you spent a whole hour with me generously answering all these questions about Google ads and Facebook ads and all that. And so he spent the first 5 minutes of the podcast honoring me and edifying me. And that made me feel so good that I basically retweeted him. And I saw him at the conference. We saw him at the conference a couple weeks ago in San Diego, right? Good friend of mine. And because it's been 8 years now. And I think we took a selfie, and I shared that, and I said, this man here went from nothing to the #1 Google Ads agency in the world. Isn't that amazing, right? Amazing. Hundreds of people look. But then he took that and he shared it, right? So what he did was he leveraged my authority in digital marketing, because I'm well known in digital marketing, so that's worth a lot to him. And I also, it worked both ways. And the funny thing is that when I was on that podcast and he was interviewing me, I was explaining some of the techniques of how to build authority, kind of like what Gavin's doing here. And I happened to mention, you know, I only sell a few of these every week, but people can buy 1 hour of time with me for $1,500. And mentors of mine have said, you know, you should charge $5,000. I've getting the same price for the last 10, 12 years, right? $1,500 for 1 hour. But you know, why not? If someone wants to pay $1,500 to talk to me for an hour, usually it's something interesting, right? And then this was during the podcast, while we were recording the podcast, and he'd asked me about this, and then he bought one on the spot. And I wasn't even expecting to sell that, right? And then when we recorded the what we call a power hour, which is the 1 hour with me, within the first 5 minutes, he said, Dennis, I got so much value from this time. It's only been 5 minutes. Like, I think we're already done. Like, this is amazing, right? And then I said, can I quote you on that? And he said, yes. So then we took the video snippet and we put that out there. We put it on all of our marketing materials and all that from the #1 Google Ads agency. But that's from building connections, right? You edify them, which is what you do on a podcast. They, of course, reciprocate by edifying you back. You take that content, you share it in different places. Like Gavin says, Medium, which is for free, but it can also be your blog, your Twitter, your LinkedIn. I like to do all the different channels if they're important. And now, that person who's well-known in that particular area, their network intersects with your network, and now you look so much better, so you're not reliant upon Fiverr. I guarantee you, Qasim is not relying upon Fiverr for his business. He's relying upon the word of mouth from referrals from other folks who are spending $10 million a month on Google Ads who say, hey, I trust Qasim Aslam of Solutions 8 with my Google Ads. Other people are like, you know what, I think I can trust him too, because I also am spending $10 million a month. And I want someone who's not going to screw up my Google Ads. I'm not just going to hire somebody on Fiverr. You see the difference? You can start with Fiverr. I know there's 2.5 million people in Pakistan on Fiverr, and last year's $2 billion, I think, almost $3 billion on Fiverr, which is great, right? Freelancing conference, we're going to be in Lahore in a couple days, talking about growing the freelancing. Yeah. But I think freelancing is the first step. If we want to get to $1 trillion Pakistan, we're going to have to go from freelancer to agency, which is groups of people selling packaged services, not selling like little pieces of tasks one at a time, all the way up to what Sharuk's talking about, where we have startups, right? Startups where you're actually building your own product or service, yes, as opposed to an agency where you're just servicing some other client, right? If you can build a SaaS, if you can build a product, if you can do e-commerce up at the startup level, like I was there in the early days of Yahoo as a startup, and that became a multi-billion-dollar company. When Yahoo went public, there were more billionaires created, not billionaires, there were more millionaires created than ever in the history of the world from that company going public. I was one of them, which is really cool. Great. But the same thing can happen here. You know, the next Yahoo or Snapchat or whatever could be here in this room. Who knows, right? Who knows? So support one another on that.
Kevin, as you mentioned, and Dennis, you also that you have to do podcasts. Okay, and invite people with authority.
Yeah.
So the question is that, which is basic one, why the person with the authority come in my podcast?
Well, there's that. It's also like this. Let's say that I didn't know somebody and I randomly met them on the street. So they said, hey, come on my podcast and I'll give you $1 million. Be like, okay, this is legit, sure, like, duh, whatever. So the thing is this, how can you build your offer, what you're offering that person, again, making it about them, because everybody walks around thinking, what's in it for me? So you have to look through their lens, how can I add so much value by this person coming on my podcast? What am I going to do for them extra from just that? How am I going to promote this podcast? All these different things. If you build up in their mind with your offer, like, wow, coming on this podcast would be a really good use of my time, they don't really care who you are, because they are like, okay, this is good for me. Yeah. And then they care who you are after the podcast, because you build a relationship with them when you have that 30 to 60 minutes with them.
Yeah, huge respect in putting in the effort. I'll interview, I'm happy to be on other people's podcasts that are nobodies, and I'll be their first podcast episode if I know they're putting in the effort. But it won't even get to that point if one thing is true. This is what everyone messes up when they do podcast outreach. They don't personalize. They don't do the research. They say, hey, love to have you on my podcast. Instant decline, because you didn't do any research, right? If you say, hey, I saw you with Qasim Aslam and you guys talked about this and this, and one thing you said I want to discuss with you in more detail, and I'd love to discuss that on my podcast in 15 minutes. Here's how our process works, and I'll promote that episode that we have to my audience, and I'm going to run $1-a-day ads because I know that's what you guys do. I'll say yes to that, even on a nothing podcast with 0 subscribers.
Okay.
So, yeah, the answer is you have to make what they think an hour worth of their time is way more valuable with what you're offering them.
Or make
Right,
it 20
and there's
minutes. You don't
ways
have
to
to ask for an hour.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it has to be an hour.
Right.
We've done a bunch of podcasts
Yeah.
like 5
That's
minutes.
a pro tip. If you say it's 20, you really have 30.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
nobody's gonna do something after 20 minutes.
Yeah, we were 2 weeks ago. We were in San Diego, and we were with Michael Stelzner. You guys know who he is? You have to know who the top people are in the industry, in each industry. So if you're in social media marketing, this is a social media incubator, right? So you probably know something about social media. The number one guy in the whole industry of social media marketing is Michael Stelzner. He runs Social Media Examiner. He runs Social Media Marketing World, which is a huge conference. He has the biggest podcast. He has the biggest blog. He has millions of visitors per month. Makes the most money. So he's the number one guy. And when we were in San Diego, he happened to walk by at the conference. And I said, wow, here, I can show you. Walk by. And I said, Mike, how are you doing? He's like, oh, Dennis, we need to catch up and blah, 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 blah. And at that moment, I was quick at thinking, I thought, hey, I want to interview you tomorrow on my podcast. Just for 20 minutes, right? And lo and behold, I texted him the next day, and we interviewed him. And here I got Naveen Jain, I got all these different sorts of people.
And just a quick jump in on this, guys.
Yeah.
The reason Dennis is able just to have that as his offer is because he already has a relationship with this guy. He's already built up a big audience. So by him having this big audience, it's valuable for Michael to come on his show. So if you don't have that, you have to get creative with it.
So I took a picture. So here's Michael Stelzner in the middle here, and there's Grant, Gavin's brother, who looks similar to Gavin, and Gavin. So both of him. Him and his brother are standing next to Michael Stelzner, okay? I'm not in this picture. You know why?
Taking picture.
That's right, because I took it. Now,
But why not selfie?
now here's a test of whether you've been paying attention this whole time. Okay, you ready? Here's the exam. What is the value of this picture?
The intersection of connections or authority.
Yeah, okay, good, perceived authority. How do I measure the value of this picture, and how do I extract the value of this picture?
The connection
Relationship, close relationship.
Oh, one at a time.
Close relationship.
So what do I do with it?
Extraordinary contact. You can
friendship.
friendship
It's a
circle.
friendship.
Yes, but what do I do with it?
You can.
I have this picture, but
you
it's
can
on my
ca-
phone and no one else will see it unless someone sees. I have to do something with it, right?
You can cache your contact.
I have to do what?
Post it.
Post it where?
Blog or social media.
For engaging their audience.
The connections of yours and your brothers and the Michael's connection, both.
Yeah.
You love them, that's why
you will edit. You will
capture
edit
their
both of
picture.
them.
Yeah,
3 of them, right?
yeah,
The
And
value.
then the
Then
value will be the actual answer, I guess.
yeah.
You can increase the content. You can increase the subscriber or viewership
Followers.
when you post this close relationships circle of the friends to friends. You can increase the viewership.
Yeah. Good. And why is that?
Definitely the Google Ads and something.
Because he has the biggest podcast, and every episode gets 40,000 downloads. So other people who are already consuming social media marketing professional expertise and have downloaded millions of episodes from him, if they see that Mike was willing to give time to us, for us to interview him, they're more likely to listen, right? Versus if Gavin and I do some random podcast about social media, let's say it's the most amazing social media podcast, we have all these great tips, but it doesn't have enough authority to convince somebody to provide 30 minutes of their time to listen to that. Also, if I take this and I just post it once on social media, or I just post it on YouTube, that's not enough. I've got to tag them, but in a non-ridiculous kind of way, right? I have to say, wow, so awesome, Mike Stelzner. Here's one thing that I didn't realize that Mike Stelzner said, right? To say something specific about this, it has to be thoughtful. If I go across multiple channels, I'm getting more reach. If I use the $1-a-day strategy, because this guy's really important, I would probably spend $100 to promote that to people who are followers of Social Media Examiner, people who attend his conference. Because I want them to see that content, because they already trust him. He has a huge audience. And now they're going to say, wow, Gavin is spending all this time with Michael Stelzner. Gavin must be somebody who's very worthwhile. And then in the back of their mind, maybe 2 or 3 years later, they need some PR and they think, I know that Gavin is friends with Michael Stelzner. I'm much more willing to hire him than some other person who I don't know. Because if Stelzner's spending time with him, he must be pretty awesome. Yeah? You see the difference here? That's the summary of this whole thing. But just because you have an asset like this, just because you reach out, you know, like Gavin's talking about, doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like, these are great pictures, but the majority, you guys know, the majority of social media is never seen by anybody. It doesn't get any reach. You know why?
Because there is so much content competing for someone's attention.
So how does this content, how do I get this picture to stand out?
You can run $1 against him on Twitter.
That's right.
You know,
That's
or
right.
a
You can
certain
follow.
Twitter thing.
It's like cheating. You know the answer.
Awareness, engagement, and conversion.
Yeah.
Awareness, engagement, conversion.
That's right.
This
Yeah.
goes on.
That's right. You've been studying too.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
Okay.
I think because you love this picture. That is the reason you wanted it.
I thought it's a great picture.
I was gonna say I'm not sure where we're at time-wise, but if we have some time, I'd love to like rapid fire some questions.
Go for it.
Sir,
Yeah.
only one question.
Yeah. Let's do some real quick, guys. So get any questions ready too, because I want to. Perfect. We'll hit you.
Rapid fire. Boom.
All right.
What is the best platform to start freelancing as a new seller?
Okay, so definitely go. This is my opinion. I'd love to hear yours as well. I'd say go for all the ones that are conventional that you think of. You know, so you have Fiverr, Upwork, etc. Do that. But in addition to that, you want to be doing what we just talked about. And that's where, especially when you have 0 reviews and you need to get those reviews, or you want to start getting revenue coming in, you need to think differently and actively, because it's really hard to start in the beginning on those. So yeah, that's what I'd say. You want to add anything to
No,
that?
we're perfect.
Okay, awesome.
That's a first step, but don't stay there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question from Dennis. What the personal brand can help the win-win situation to the self and company? Because the personal branding is various ways people do for their own content and creation. When we do for the same content for the company and things, so how can we get brand for the personal
So
brand?
the company is you? You're freelancing?
No. As a freelancer, as an individual, as a